Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for coming out on this beautiful day. My name is Carrie Preston. I come to you from English and Gender Studies, and I'm also the director of Kilachand Honors College.
Thank you so much again. My name is Zaman. I'm professor of Biomedical Engineering and Global Public Health. So we wanted to sort of spend the first few minutes, perhaps 7 or 8 minutes, talking about the complexity of the challenge of forced displacement and give you a sense of what our initiative is, why we decided to have a Research on Tap event thanks to Gloria's office and their tremendous support and help, and what are some of the activities that we plan in the short term and in the medium to long term as well. So if you look at the global statistics, we are looking at about 70.8, almost 71 million people who are forcibly displaced out of their homes. This includes both internally displaced people who are within their country and people who are forced to leave their homes and move across international boundaries as well. These are different from migrants, such as economic migrants or people who travel for studying or for other reasons. These are people who are forced out of their homes due to conflict, increasingly because of climate change and other forces as well. That comes out to about a refugee every 2 seconds, which is significantly troubling and problematic. If you look at the sort of the global dimension of this, with the exception of next slide, with the exception of Germany, which sort of started hosting refugees in post the Syrian conflict, every single country falls in the low or middle income country. The country that I grew up in, Pakistan, right next to Afghanistan, has one of the highest refugees in the world. And this number 1.4 certainly is on the lower estimate. You look at Uganda, Ethiopia, Jordan, Bangladesh, Turkey, Iran, Lebanon, Sudan, and elsewhere as well. So that tells you that the problem is multidimensional. Not only are people forced out of their homes, they're also living in countries that are struggling with many development challenges of their own as well. And that creates many challenges, not only in terms of access to water and health and education, but also xenophobia and internal tension that continues to make the problem much worse. Next slide. So out of that sense, and this problem certainly is not way out there, this problem is here at home as well. At the southern US border, we continue to see the problem manifesting in many dimensions. It's a problem in our cities where we may not know, but there are refugee communities that struggle. So this is a problem that really sort of has dimensions that are both local and global as well. And out of that, sort of, we have thought about creating a university-wide initiative that Carrie will talk about.
So we are very, very excited to be part of an initiative on forced displacement. We are trying to gather colleagues from across the disciplines to work with us. The challenge of forced displacement, just to understand it, requires collaborations from across the disciplines, much less to begin to develop solutions to this challenge or interventions into this challenge. So part of our desire in organizing this Research on Tap today was to introduce the initiative and to bring people working on this challenge together, to share their research, to start to network and hopefully become collaborators in their research and work with us on this initiative. I want to give credit to some incredible undergraduate students who have traveled with us to a program that I will introduce in a little bit and have worked with us in launching this initiative, who have created the webpage and some of these wonderful images. I want to credit Haley Hart-Thompson, who is here. I don't know if any of the others. But in some ways, one of the wonderful things about this project is that our students have demanded it and have pushed us every step of the way. So that's been really exciting. Our mission is really well aligned with the mission of contemporary research universities. So we want the initiative to have a research arm and to particularly, as I said, bring together collaborations in research. We want it to have a teaching arm, of course, and in fact, we began with teaching and with courses and running programs, international programs. And of course, we want it to have a global service or global engagement arm. And those are the three stools that they say the contemporary university stands upon: research, service, and teaching.
So one of the things that, so one of the challenges that we face at a university like Boston University is that a lot of things are going on in different parts of the campus that we may or may not be aware of. Research on Tap is one mechanism to really reach out to these disparate units on campus where people are conducting phenomenal research, are involved in global engagement programs, and also an opportunity for us to generate awareness. Of course, many people will always be traveling on any given Tuesday. So there are many more people who are involved in this work than can be here. But we're really delighted that some of the people that we really wanted to highlight are here. The other dimension of Research on Tap is to really create a whole that is larger than the sum of its parts. So we want these networking opportunities to really talk to each other, and there may be other things happening that we may not be aware of. We are in early stages of this initiative, and the goal here is to communicate with each other, to learn from each other, and to really build something that is going to touch many different aspects of the university, from teaching to learning to research to classroom projects to theses to all kinds of things. And this is, for us, the right venue to create a Research on Tap.
As I mentioned, it was really through teaching and then our students pushing us to do more that this initiative got its momentum, so to speak. And so I'm very pleased to introduce the Interdisciplinary Program on Forced Displacement Studies. We are running 2 courses this summer. We've just recently finished our recruitment process for those courses. We partner with colleagues at Makerere University in Uganda and at the Universidad de los Andes in Bogota, Colombia. And what we do there in the courses is we work with ongoing NGOs. We work on their research projects that are on the ground. We're trying to expose students to the tremendous challenges faced when trying to engage with this problem. One of the crucial elements is peer-to-peer learning. So our students are studying alongside students from those universities. They're studying from colleagues who have been specialists in the particular context that they're working with. In Colombia this year, we'll be really focused on urban refugees, so refugees that are not in camps, but the challenges of integrating refugees into the city. And it's a very different program in Uganda because the context is so different. And the students spend about 3 days in refugee camps as part of that program. So it's roughly a 3-week experience. And the students who have come back have been the ones really pushing us forward with this work.
Students have also been constructive in their criticism about addressing issues of ethics, about equity, about making sure that these programs are really sort of designed to partner with those who are on the ground and sort of push back on any kind of like savior complex, any kind of neo-colonialism, making sure that we are clear in our communication, making sure that we are equipped with adequate tools of surveying and interviewing, as well as sort of designing new solutions as well. So that has been remarkable for us. And the program in Colombia was actually driven exclusively by students in Uganda who came from Latin America and said we need to do something in Latin America. So the fact that we are able to internalize these messages and students are able to sort of take ownership of that, both in terms of their research experiences, but also in terms of pedagogy, is something that we are remarkably excited about.
One of our really exciting achievements was from the second course that we ran with partners at the American University in Beirut. 3 of the students pictured here and their partner, the 4th, is a student from AUB, developed a platform for educating, an informal education platform that can be used in the tented settlements, and one BU's HELP prize, beating out graduate students from across the university. And so this was one of the really exciting moments where a solution that was developed as part of the program got some great attention. And they also did the innovation, 3 weeks of innovation at the Build Lab. So they've been taking advantage of our resources as well. As Mohammed mentioned, they're calling for more. They're calling for another program in Colombia and beyond. And so we want to ask you to get involved and help us. We actually can't manage to do everything that we want to do. We have high aspirations. So please, as faculty, staff, graduate students, get involved and work with us.
This is important, and one of our goals from this program, we've been extremely fortunate for getting support from various deans and leaders of various administrative units that are very keen in making sure that we create opportunities for students and faculty to travel with us. And they have sort of given resources and allocated resources for us to facilitate that. We do not want finances to be a burden on anyone in engaging in this. What we want is people who are driven by this cause with no prior experience or lots of experience to really contribute and engage in ways that are more suited for them. Carrie and I go to nearly all of these trips, but we also want you all to really contribute and bring your own sort of perspective, your own richness, your own sort of interest. And that is very, very important for the longevity of the program, the sustainability of the program, writing new grants, creating new avenues. And that is something that one of the goals, that remains one of the goals for the Research on Tap, is to really think about who are some of our partners and allies and colleagues who we can engage in all of these dimensions, both there and in projects here.
So in addition to running the programs and helping to sponsor collaborative research, we are organizing other events. And just a quick plug, there will be a screening of the film For Sama with a discussion afterwards. This has gotten a ton of attention. I think it's going to be a stunning documentary. That's at Kilachand Hall coming up on March 26th. And please mark your calendars also for the visit of Teju Cole, whose most recent project has been a collaborative photographic fiction, poetry. The genre is very difficult to describe, but a gorgeous book about forced migration. So I think these are two events that I hope you will put on your calendars.